Today, let's learn how to make the embroidery for the beautiful tone-on-tone yellow coat seen at so many of the creative drawings venues this spring. After you've opened your creative drawings, go ahead and click on a new document. We're going to choose a new graphic and then choose the hoop that you're going to be stitching out in. Today, I'm going to use the generic 100 by 100 hoop and click Next. Make sure you choose the proper weight of fabric that you will be stitching on. Since we're going to be working on a heavier coat, we are going to choose embroidery heavy for the fabric, and then choose the light yellow color that is that pretty color of the coat that we're going to work with, and click Finish. After you have the hoop on the screen, go ahead and go up to Tools and click Insert Symbol. We're going to insert a flower from the Wingding font. Scroll down until you see the pretty flowers, click on that flower and then click Insert. Move your mouse toward the center of the hoop and then make your flower about 3.5 centimeters in size. It doesn't have to be exact, and then your angle should be right around 0. Again, don't worry if it's not exact. Once you have that set, let go of your mouse and then close out the Insert Symbol screen. We're going to zoom in and move the mouse until your flower is right in the middle of the hoop. Once you have that flower in the middle of the hoop, go ahead and click Duplicate on your toolbar options. Just going to move my screen down so I can see that duplicate. When I click Duplicate once, go ahead and click, a flower is placed directly on top of the other flower, so make sure you only click once when you duplicate. The next thing we want to do is we want to make this flower, the duplicate flower, a little bit smaller than the other one. We actually are going to change the size by 75%. You can come up to Scale and change exactly by 75%, which is what we're going to do, but you can also click and drag, and you can see how you can change the size of the flower like that as well. I'm just going to do a quick undo, come up and click the Scale to be 75%, make sure the proportional is checked, and then enter on your keyboard, and you have the exact size in the proper area for your flower. So that's why we wanted to go ahead and use that tool options of the scaling size. With that small flower already highlighted, hold the Shift key, so remember the Shift key on your keyboard, and left click. Now go up to the Trim tool. What we're going to do is we're going to trim out the smaller flower from the big flower. So go ahead and click on Trim. Once you click on Trim, you'll notice you have two flowers, but I can click on that inside flower and use the Delete from my keyboard and get rid of that. So now we have the outside area, which is what we want to use to make that pretty tone-on-tone flower. Go ahead and click on the flower again, and this time let's just right-click. The right-click menu gives you a lot more options. In this case, we're going to use the Break Apart. When I click on Break Apart, it actually takes the inside and makes it a separate piece from the outside of the flower. Let's go ahead and choose that inside piece and delete it. We'll put an interior piece or a center of the flower here shortly. Click on the outside or the flower ring again and click Duplicate. Again, only click once because the flower is going to go right on top of the other one. The new flower is going to go right on top of the other one. Again, you can click and drag on a handle to choose and change the size of the second flower. Today, let's go ahead and use the Scale. The Scale actually, if you want to do this over and over, the Scale works well. Again, make sure the proportional is checked. We're going to scale X by 55% and then enter on your keyboard. And look how that just makes it exact, the perfect size for that interior piece. Now click on the outside ring again, duplicate, And this time we're going to make a bigger flower that's going to go along the outside. Let's make that 160 degrees bigger. So actually we're putting in 160 degrees. It's actually going to be 60% bigger. So let's enter on your keyboard and you can see how that looks with your flower. So that's that 3-ring beautiful flower that was seen on the pretty coat that we showed off at all of our venues this year. We now just have a few finishing touches. Go over to the Shapes tool. Now remember, with the Shapes tool, if you've been using other pieces like the rectangular shape or the star shape, what you need to make sure to do is take your mouse, hover it, and then left click and hold on that tool, and then scoot over. You have that menu that flies out, and then click on the Create Ellipse shape. Click and drag so your ellipse goes in the center of the flower. Once you have that done, the tool is still active. Go ahead and right click to end the tool. Now I'm just going to zoom way in and just make sure that's right in the center of the flower. So now that we've got this all done, let's do the final finishing things. Do a Control A on your keyboard. So hold down the Control key and press the letter A on your keyboard. Let's change everything to a satin stitch. So in the object properties, make sure that you have the little bucket, which is your fill areas, and change everything to a satin. And then I want you to change the pattern to pattern number 4. When you're working with a satin stitch that goes around a circle like this, when you add a pattern to a large satin, it just makes it look very pretty. It gives it movement, which a regular step fill stitch would not do. So definitely use that satin stitch like that. Let's select the whole design again and come down and choose a pretty yellow color. So we're going to click on the yellow, which is the bottom right corner, to change the yellow step areas or the yellow fill areas. So click on that. Then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to choose a bright magenta, the bright purple color, and in the upper left corner I'm going to click on that, and that's going to give us a beautiful outline for this flower. And we're almost done. Go ahead and under the toolbar options, I want that outline to be triple stitched. So to make a triple stitch, I've learned that we're going to change the outline under the tool options to 0.9, so 0.9 millimeters. That gives it a thicker look to the outline area, which is what we want for this. If you forget what the outline should be, you can always go to our website, creative-drawings, so creative with a little dash, drawings.com. Go into the Learning Center and Did You Know? And under Did You Know, there's information about those outlines. And now you can see that pretty triple stitch all the way around the flower. So that's it. That's a great way to make a beautiful tone-on-tone flower. Put it on any coat and add a beautiful outline to that flower with that nice pattern satin stitch for a wonderful decoration and a beautiful addition to any purchased coat.